Hello, all you wonderful people out there. This is the host of the podcast that you are about to listen to. But before we get started, I want to ask you for a favor. I know many of you out there have already liked and shared this podcast on Facebook, and thank you very much for doing so, and please continue to do so. But let's not forget about another way to help this podcast grow, and that way is called word of mouth. That's right, before there was Facebook, there was something called word of mouth. And here's how that works. You listen to the show, then you tell a family member about the show, and then you tell a friend, then you tell a coworker, and then maybe you tell somebody that you go to church with. I really want to grow this show, and I will take all the help I can get. So thank you very much for listening, and now let's get the show started.
Cyberspace astronauts, are you ready to be entertained with pointless jibber-jabber and senseless small talk? If so, then you have come to the right place. It's the Todd Cook Show, starring Todd Cook, and featuring music by local and national artists. Now, broadcasting from his garage, here is Todd Cook.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Listening to episode 3-4 of the Todd Cook Show. I am here, you are here, I am talking, you are listening. This is the Todd Cook Show. I am Todd Cook. I got another great episode lined up for you today, but I'm doing something a little differently today, something that I don't think I've ever done before. Maybe I have, and maybe somebody out there who listens frequently might be able to correct me and say, yes, you have done this before. I am going today with no notes whatsoever. Usually I have just a few notes out there in front of me on my computer screen just to let me know, remind myself what I want to talk about and make sure that I don't forget certain things to talk about that I want to talk about. But today I have nothing. I am flying by the seat of my pants. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think there was another episode where I did something like this. I have to go back to the archives and maybe find out. But even if this isn't the first time, it's a very rare occasion that I do this show without having any notes whatsoever. And the main reason I don't have any notes is I just didn't take the time to do it. But I do know what I'm going to talk about. I'm a little lazy, I guess. One of the things I'm going to talk about in today's show is an ATM machine that went kind of haywire. Or at least it seems like it went haywire. It was. I'll explain here in a little bit. The ATM machine that did something kind of crazy. And then also I want to talk about something I've talked about for sure on this show before, I think more than once as a matter of fact. But it's concerning a problem. It's one of those men versus women problems. And it's a problem that I spent a considerable amount of time talking about on this show previously to try to solve the problem. But apparently it did not work because just the other day, I'm watching television, and this same little argument came up once again. And surprisingly to me, apparently not everybody on the world, on this earth, is listening to my program yet. If they had, they would not have brought this little argument up again. But I'm going to try once again with a little more diligence. I'm going to try really hard to solve this problem once and for all, so we will not hear about it again. That's coming up shortly. Then I got music by Bride coming up. The song is called Follow Me off of their The Jesus Experience album. You want to stick around for that. And then I am going to finish this show talking about a little some assembly required. You know, whenever, especially us dads out there who seem to get the task of putting together all your kids' toys and stuff, I had to put something together. And it actually went fairly smoothly, except for one little ordeal with my 3-year-old son, and I'm going to tell you about that as well. So stick around, folks. It's going to be a great show. Let's get started. All right. My wife and I got our tax check back here recently, as so many millions of other Americans out there do. Now, I know there's some of you out there who I don't know how many people are listening to this show that might fall into this category, but there are some people out there at the end of the year after watching X amounts of dollars coming out of their check every week and every month. When it comes tax time, they got to pay even more, which is crazy, and I'm sympathetic for those people. And I actually someday I hope to be one of those people, because I would rather be in their tax bracket and have to pay a little more taxes than to be where I'm at and get a little refund at the end of the year. Now, there is a certain point there where you're making a little more money, but there's so many taxes that are coming out that you could rather be in the lower tax bracket, and you get a little more take-home pay. But at some point, if I was able to grow some wealth and become a wealthy person, I know I'm going to be paying taxes at the end of the year. Unless my wife and I can have like 50 kids or something. All those tax deductions seem to help. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's why I don't have notes. That's what happens when I don't have notes. I get off the subject a little bit. But with one of the things that we had to do with our tax money was we had a sliding glass door in our kitchen that has not worked correctly since we moved into the house. Now, early on, it was all right. It just wasn't, it didn't slide open quite as easy as it should, but it probably would not have been a problem. But as time went on, as the months passed, as we went through winters and summers, it got worse and worse, and eventually the little rail on the bottom just broke. It just popped up off the bottom of the floor there, and so the wheels that are supposed to slide up and down on that rail had nothing really to slide on. It was kind of bent over, and half of it was broke off, and so it got really bad there for a while, and my 7-year-old son could barely open it. He'd have to put his foot up on the cabinet and like pull with all of his might, push with his legs, and my wife was having trouble opening it, and I couldn't even hardly open it. And I actually at one point fixed it. I used some glue that was supposed to be as strong as steel, and I bent the rail back up where it was up and down right, and I put the door back on there and had it glued in there, and it started working pretty good for a month or two, but then it got really cold. I think that had something to do with it, and the glue gave way. This glue that was never, ever supposed to give way gave way. It was like one of those glues, where you have two different syringes and you got to mix it together. I can't remember exactly what it was called. It wasn't JB Weld. It was a clear substance. But anyway, a time had come where I realized I'm going to have to get this professionally fixed. And so I made a phone call. Actually, I talked to somebody I work with, and he gave me a phone number. I called the guy. The guy came out, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit later in the show as well. A great guy. Just did a really good guy. Really good job. Could have charged us a lot more than he did. Probably could have replaced the whole door and just told us that's what had to be done, but he didn't. He just repaired the rail, took the rail totally off and replaced it. Professionally done. I can open the door now with one finger. It's amazing. I didn't know sliding glass doors could be so easy to open. But we're really happy about it. But anyway, when I called him, and he was going to come over, I was expecting him to come over, look at it, give me an estimation, and say, okay, I could be back, next week between noon and 3 o'clock, or noon and 9 o'clock, or whenever. Sometimes they don't give really specific times. But I thought he would just come, look at it, and give me an estimation, and then be back sometime later that next week, probably. Well, he shows up, gives me the estimation. I said, that sounds great. Let's do it. And he said, all right, I'll go get the stuff out of my truck. Or his van. And I was like, well, I was surprised that, oh, wow, he's actually going to do it. And the problem, which was great, the only problem was we did not have the money on us because we were not expecting it. And our tax check came back to us, they put it on like a debit card now, like a credit card, which is the easiest way. But anyway, we had to go to an ATM machine to get some cash for this guy. While he was working on our door, our mother-in-law, my mother-in-law was here watching the kids, and so me and my wife went to the ATM machine, and the guy charged, I think it was like $200 and some, and we just decided to get the full $300 that you can get from a ATM machine. And so we put the card in, punched in the numbers, and $300, enter, and then the money starts coming out. The first thing that comes out is a $5 bill. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they're a little low on 20s or 50s or 10s or whatever, and they have to give us a few $5 bills. Second thing comes out is $5 bill. The third thing that comes out, $5 bill. it keeps going and going. And every time I see that $5 bill come out, I think the next one's got to be at least a 10 or a 20 or a 50, or maybe at the very end they'll give us 100. But it didn't. It kept going. $5 bill, $5 bill, $5 bill, $5 bill. That's now $300. That's $65 bills that ATM machine spit out at us. And just the trying to gather up all that paper money there while people are standing around, I'm afraid somebody's going to come up behind us and try to grab it, and my wife's trying to put some in her purse, and I'm trying to pull it. It's crazy. $65 bills. We had to take that back to this guy and pay him his entire fee out of $5 bills and some change. Now, I don't know for sure, but I imagine when he left, and I counted out right in front of him, because when you're dealing with that many bills, you got to make sure you're counting it right. And I counted out, and he counted out, and I apologized to him. I don't know if he believed me or not. I said the ATM machine gave us all $5 bills. But I think he left. He probably thought that we were drug dealers or something, and we had to go do a little drug deal and get, sell a bunch of drugs on the street or something to get a bunch of $5 bills. But I've never seen that before. You think the ATM machine, I shouldn't say ATM machine. That's redundant. ATM is automatic teller machine. So if you say ATM machine, you're saying all automatic teller machine. So at the ATM, you think they would have put a little something up on the screen that says, you're going to get this all in $5. Are you sure? $5 bills. Are you sure you want this? But they didn't. But that's okay. Either way, it worked out. And the guy fixed our sliding glass door, and it is it's just amazing how easily it opens and closes now. And so we're very thankful that we got that taken care of. And with that, I'm going to take my first break, everybody. You're listening to the Todd Cook Show. I'll be back in just a few short moments.
Hey, all you Wichitonians. Hey, everybody from the Wichita area. Have you ever had car problems? Have you ever slid into a ditch? Have you ever needed a tow? Don't waste your time looking for a tow company that you might not be able to trust. Call B&B Towing at 316-214-4021. It is a locally owned family business that can help you. So if you have a car that needs towed or repaired or both, call him. Or if you have a car in a ditch that needs a winch, call Cheyenne Brown at B&B Towing, 316-214-4021. He's a 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force. That's B&B Towing, 316-214-4021.
He was playing basketball with a friend and hit 13 straight three-pointers. Todd Cook.
That is very true. I could contact my buddy that was with me on that very amazing day, and he would confirm it as well. It was in the backyard of his house, or I shouldn't say it wasn't even a yard, but behind their house was a little alleyway, and they had a basketball goal set up out there, and 13 straight three-pointers. They're all from the same spot, and I was only guarded for the first like 2 or 3 of them because we were playing one-on-one, but at some point he realized I had the touch going, so he just kind of backed off. 13 straight, and I think I ended up going like 17 for 21, and then I think I missed 2 in a row, and I just stopped shooting. But all right, this next segment here, and like I said, I've talked about this before, and I'm going to bring it up again. And if this show goes over a half hour, so be it. I'm going to do my best to try to solve this problem once and for all. It is a problem that's been around for decades. It is a man versus woman problem. And it has to do with that little issue about putting the toilet seat down. And I'm going to solve that problem right now. Listen, ladies, here's how I'm going to solve that problem. Ladies, put the toilet seat down your own dang self. When did it become the sole purpose of a man is to make sure that the toilet seat is prepared for the lady when she arrives? When did that become my responsibility? When did that become men's responsibility to prepare the toilet seat for her Her Majesty, Queen Potty. She's got to come in. She can't lift that seat or put it back down herself. Think about it, man. We got to go in there. We got to lift the seat, and then we got to put it back down. Why? So the lady, when she goes in there, she doesn't have to do anything. She just sits down. It's ready for her. We prepared the toilet for her, and I don't know why that ever became the job of the man, to prepare the bathroom, the toilet seat, for the woman. I don't know of years ago, maybe they all got together and they had a big meeting. The women got together and they sat around this big table and they had a meeting. And they talked about how embarrassing it was, to go into the bathroom and sit down and forget to put the toilet seat down and then about fall in. And they said, I can't believe we do this so much. You've done it? And they're, yeah, I've done it. I've done it. Everybody's done it. We've all done it a million times. This is so embarrassing. We got to find a solution to this. What can we do to spare ourselves of this embarrassment? And somebody said, I know. Let's blame it on the men. Let's say it's supposed to be their job to put the toilet seat down. It's just an arbitrary rule they made up. Let's blame it on the men. And somehow they got away with it for years, but not anymore. Today, I'm going to put it into this. I tried to put it into it a while back, and like I said earlier, just the other day on a TV show, I heard this topic brought up again. Ladies, put the toilet seat down your own self. Listen, you going into the bathroom and sitting down where there is no toilet seat and about falling in and blaming it on me would be like if I went in there, peed on the seat, and then blamed it on you for not putting the seat up. Would that make any sense? How do you think that would go over if I came out of the bathroom and I said, honey? And by the way, my wife has never had this issue at all. So when I'm fighting this fight, not for me, but for all the other men who've heard this. My wife has never mentioned once anything about the toilet seat not being put down for her. And we got 3 men in this house that are using the potty now. Or even our 3-year-old son is going in there using the potty. And so it's 3 men to 1 lady, but she has never complained about that once. You know why? Because my wife is smart enough to know before you sit down, take a look, make sure the seat's down. Okay? But how would this go over with you if I came out and I said, honey, you forgot to put the seat up for me again, and I peed all over it? Would that be okay with you? So why is it when you go into the bathroom and don't make sure the seat's down and then sit down and almost fall in, why is it okay for you to blame that on the man that was in there before you? It's not okay. There's no reason that should be acceptable. Okay? I mean, do we really have to prepare the bathroom for you? Do you want us to lay down a red carpet? The lady of the house might be going to the bathroom soon. We better lay out the red carpet. Make sure that she's got everything in the bathroom ready. Do I need to get the toilet paper ready? If you forget to put the seat down and you about fall in, is there a chance you might forget to use toilet paper? Do I need to take some toilet paper and lay it out flat on the back of the toilet seat? I mean, I could imagine you blame that on us too. You come out of the bathroom and be like, honey, you didn't leave any toilet paper out for me, and I wiped myself with my bare hand, and it's all your fault. How is that even a feasible argument to have? Blaming it on men. I don't know how they got away with it for so long, but somehow they did. And in some ways, ladies, to tell you the truth, we do prepare the bathroom for you. The bathroom actually is overly prepared for you. You don't believe me? Listen, think about this. We do prepare the bathroom for you. That shower curtain with the butterflies on it, that's for you. The towels with the butterflies on it, that's for you. The floor mats with the butterflies, that's for you. We did all this for you. The bars of soap that are shaped like a butterfly that we can't even use, those are for you. The candles that are shaped like butterflies that we can't even light, those are for you. We did all of this for you. The least you can do is put the toilet seat down your own dang self, okay? Thank you. Problem solved. With that, I got to take another little short break here. Give myself a moment to try to calm down. You're listening to the Todd Cook Show. I'll be right back.
It is 2014, folks, and computers have taken over the world. Well, not really, but they are everywhere. And if you're a business owner, you know how computers can enhance your ability to operate your business. But most likely, you're also familiar with how difficult it can be trying to manage your computer network. Are you having some trouble in the IT department and you need some help? Well, if you live in the Warsaw, Indiana area, you are in luck. Just get whacked. WACD can help. Just go to wacdllc.com and find out how. They can help with network installation, maintenance, security, and more. And they don't just help businesses, they can help anybody. WACD can even help with hardware and software sales and services. And believe it or not, they can help you with many issues even if you don't live anywhere near the Warsaw, Indiana area. As long as you have an internet connection, they can help you fix your computer or install new software remotely. They could even set you up with a brand new PC or Mac. So whether you're a business or an individual, get whacked today. WACDLLC.com. That's WACDLLC.com.
He has never watched one episode of The Sopranos, 24, or Lost. Todd Cook.
That is all very true as well. Those are three television shows that were extremely popular in modern times within the last 10 years or so, for sure. Those are probably the three, or definitely out of the top 10, those are three of the most popular shows ever. The Sopranos, 24, and Lost. And I have not seen one episode of any of those shows. Why? I'm not real sure. I think one of those was on HBO, and I didn't have HBO, and this was before everything was available on online. So, 24, Sopranos, and Lost. Never seen one episode of any of those shows. And that last segment there got me a little worked up there, and I forgot to play the song that I was supposed to play. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. It will throw the rhythm of this episode off just a little bit, but that's all right. This song, I'll just tell you who this song is brought to you by first. It's brought to you by Morris Glass Company. Now, this is the glass company that fixed my door that I mentioned on the first segment of the show. The guy could not have been nicer, could not have been more professional. If you live in the Wichita, Kansas area, and you need somebody to help you with glass, with mirrors, shower doors, tabletops, shelves, custom cutting, custom auto glass, storm windows, storm doors, patio doors, insulated doors, replacement windows and doors, you need to call Morris Glass. The guy had an opportunity to charge me a lot more. He could have easily just told me, well, and the fact was the part that I needed was no longer available. It had been, what do you call it when they're no longer available? I don't know. Discontinued. And he could have easily just said, because of that, I got to replace your whole door, and he could have made a lot more money off me than he did. But he was an honest guy, and he happened to have that discontinued part on him in his van, and he fixed our glass door, and it works great. Call Morris Glass, 946-0745. That's in the Wichita area code 316-946-0745. And now here's that song by Bride. It's called Follow Me off of their Jesus Experience album on the Todd Cook Show.
By strong dreams, not afraid to call Jesus Lord. Have no fear of the fire. my soul. Living our blood, I distill it cold. Follow me, I know the way. I am saying what no one will say. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. I know the way. I am saying what no one will say. Follow me. Follow me.
All right, that was Bride with Follow Me. Look Bride up online at bridepub.com, BRIDEPUB.com. You can find more about that band there. All right, I got about 3 minutes left here on this show, less than 3 minutes, to talk about a little assembly required. I bought a basketball goal that I could put up outside. Our backyard is mostly concrete. I thought it'd be something nice, for the whole family. And it has been so far. And, we're right in the middle of winter here, and we had a really bad cold spell there for a long time. But after I bought this goal, I saw that we had like 3 or 4 days where it's going to be fairly warm. So I wanted to get it up pretty quick. And so I started assembling some that same day we got it inside the house, the smaller parts. Obviously the big long pole needs to be, assembled outside, and everything needs to be each part needs to be put together outside. But I did some inside, what I could, and then the next day I started doing it outside. And I was just about to get done. I had the goal, with the base leaned over our picnic table where I'm trying to assemble some of the stuff on top. And my 3-year-old son is out there. The 7-year-old is at school, and the little baby girl is inside. I got the monitor out there on the porch where I could hear if she's crying. And I'm putting this basketball goal together, and my 3-year-old son, a lot of times is kind of getting in my way, and I keep saying, Jackson, get away, look out, you're in my way. And he'd go play somewhere, then he'd come back and get in my way. He just wants to try to help Daddy, and at some point, I'm almost done, and I see him grabbing some of my tools, and he's going down to the base of the basketball goal. I got it leaned over on its side, where I can reach I think I was actually putting the net on. That's all I had left was to put the net on before I set it up. And he's coming over, he's grabbing the tools, different tools, and he's walking down towards the base of the basketball goal. And I think, okay, that's fine. As long as he doesn't go any farther, I'll be able to go down. He'll, probably drop the tools on the ground. They'll be right down there. I'll be able to find them. He's just pretending like he's helping Daddy. He's going down there, and I hear him jibber-jabbering, and then he comes back and grabs something else. And he did this like 3 or 4 different times until finally I realized that he's not down there just pretending like he is helping Daddy. He has taken my tools, my ratchets, my sockets, and he is dropping them into the hole of the bottom at the base where, you got to fill up with water so it's heavy enough to make sure the goal doesn't tip over. So it had these 2 plugs there, the holes where you can dump water in there. Or they said sand or water. They recommend sand, but I didn't have any sand, so I filled it up with water. But he's just taking my tools. I'm not even sure what all he got. I think he got my ratchet and a couple of the sockets on it and was just dropping them into that hole. And that's just the mind of a 3-year-old. He had no idea that he was doing anything. And then at some point, I was like, I realized what he's doing and saw that he dropped one in there. And I go over there, and I can't find any of the other ones, so I realized he's dropped them all in there. And there's no way to get it out. I mean, I already got the pole hooked onto the base. I'd have to take it all apart, and maybe if I tilted up over my head and tilted it around and shook it or something, I might be able to get the tools out of that little bitty hole. It's just about the size of a quarter. I don't think I'd be able to. It would even be worth it. I don't know if I'd be able to get any out or not, but it wouldn't be worth the effort. So I just left them in there. But that's the mind of a 3-year-old. He's going down there just dropping those tools into that hole. And at some point, I'm like, Jackson, what are you doing? And he'd get down on his knees, and he thought that when he dropped him in that hole, it would come out the bottom of the pole. And he's like at the bottom of the pole, he called it a pipe. He was down a pipe, Daddy, pipe. And he's like looking down, thinking those tools would fall out the bottom of that pipe. It's two separate things. So I don't know how many of my tools I lost, but just that 3-year-old kid coming over, grabbing them right there in front. I'm watching him do it. I just didn't realize what he's doing. He's grabbing my tools, going down there, and just randomly dropping them in that hole. And they'll probably be there forever or until that thing breaks. All right. That's it for this episode of the Todd Cook Show. I believe it's episode 3-4. That's what I said at the beginning of the show. Hopefully that's correct, because I really don't know. But I'm going to start the music now and get on out of here. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Tune in next week, and there'll be another show. Or whenever there's another show, there'll be another show. But tune in then, and I'll talk. You listen.